I asked you guys to give me ideas for a new operator in Rainbow Six Siege, and you guys showed up. I was shocked by how many comments I got on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts. A lot of people that seem really passionate about wanting to create a new operator. It was really cool, so we're gonna check out a few of those now. There were some that were good, and there were others that were But anyway, I want to dive into a few of these with y'all. I want you to tell me in the comments which one of these is your favorite and which one you think would be a good addition to the game, a bad addition. If you disagree with my takes on any of them, or if you liked my takes on any of them, let me know. I'd love to do another one of these again in the future, especially if we get some more subscribers and everything and just get more people flooding in ideas. Also, let me know what other games I could do this for. First comment. First one comes from Gods Are All Here. I'd say an operator that can use lasers, not like Denari, but through bullets, or a separate gun that takes forever to charge up, but can kill anyone in the blink of an eye. Spartan. It's just a Spartan laser. That's all it is. Just a laser that takes forever to charge up and kills anyone instantly in the blink of an eye. They want Noble 6 in Rainbow Six. Not a big fan of this idea. I think there's already plenty of one-shot things like a headshot. Callie already has a one-shot sniper rifle. C4s, frags, claymores. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this idea. I would say if there was potential in Siege for trick shots and stuff, which isn't really Siege's thing. Siege's, highlights are people that are really nasty, not people that are hitting 360 jumping off the roof of Oregon trick shots. That's a Call of Duty Halo thing. I don't really see it fitting well into this game. For that reason, I'm giving this idea a 3 out of 10. Next one from Lone Wolf 026 Xbox. Attacking op, anything but a 3-speed. Honestly, would love to see Nomad from Ghost Recon enter the game, like we've seen other Ubisoft characters enter the game. Like Altair from AC for Flores, or Sam Fisher, Zero. I feel like his gadget could be his Panther spray from Breakpoint. It's basically a revitalizing smoke canister, but with concealment and stim capabilities, not like Docker Thunderbird that heals you to full, more like closer to Finka's nanobots. Heals you up for a short time, then wears off. Since there's a bit of confusion since we already have an operator named Nomad on attack, would have to use a different call sign or field name. I honestly think you could just incorporate his field name from Ghost Recon, which is Ghost Lead, or just simplify it to Ghost. As for his lore, there's already a ton spread throughout the games, including multiple missions in the field with fellow operators Sam Fisher and aka Zero. Already multiple storylines and backstory that could be incorporated into his character profile that could link him to Zero, due to past combat missions, and even Finka with possible links with some sort of shared nanotech. They should bring in his signature 6-hour 5.16, which is a lightweight, highly accurate assault rifle that excels at medium to long range. For his sidearm, they should add his signature P227. The P226 is already in the game, so work off the model and tweak it. Or go all out and finally give an operator in Siege an M9 Beretta. I love Ghost Recon. I was onto Ghost Recon way before I was ever onto Siege. And Wildlands is one of my all-time favorites. I love that game. I highly recommend anybody in here that hasn't played Wildlands or Breakpoint, you should check them out. Just wait until Ubisoft drops the price below $14 billion. But I think this would be really cool, especially if say you were on Villa and y'all wanted to push just into Trophy or into Master Bedroom, but you're at one of these windows and one of your friendlies gets unfortunately downed from a wallbang. You were just carefully droning like you should be as Ghost Lead, and you could just take out one of your Panther spray gadgets, throw it toward him, a little poof of smoke appears, they're healed, at least they get revived a little bit and back to 25 health or 20 health or whatever Finkus brings you back to, and they can get up and continue the fight. Or, if y'all are all just going to go bum rushing in there, just pop the Panther spray, give everybody a little health boost like Finka does, and then you just go in guns blazing and clear the joint. I think this would be really, really cool. he would have to be an attacker. Like you said, defense has already got Doc and Thunderbird. But I love this idea, and I love that you brought up ways that you could like tie in the lore, like Sam Fisher, and maybe he has something to do with Finka because of nanobots, and they've connected over that in the past. I think this is a pretty foolproof idea. I love it. And if Ubi were ever to put Ghost Lead into this game, I would play as that character exclusively. Like, honestly, I would. I think this is so cool. This is a crisp 9 out of 10. Okay, let's check out some TikTok ideas. From Truest. Diddy. He takes baby oil and oils up his teammates for 30 extra HP.
Oh man, what the fuck, man? Get your ass on, bro.
Now, how in the world? Next one. T-Dubs PG. Genji, a Thai defensive operator, has 2 launchable hive pads that if an attacker's drone drives into, will collect. The hive pad hacks the drone, but instead of letting you see through the camera, you gain a ability to ping the attacker of whose drone you scanned in a 45-second time frame. Position is only revealed to Genji, but makes a loud vibrating sound when Genji uses it. 2 speed, 2 armor, M16A2 burst rifle, or FMG, Glaive 12 secondary shotgun, or revolver. So firstly, Genji is a Japanese word that means 2 beginnings, depending on how it's written. Why the Thai operator got the Japanese name? But secondly, I think this is awesome. I think there is needed to be an operator on defense that can counter drones as well as Mute can, and I don't think this would be like as powerful as Mute if it's just like laying down a mat. But a direct drone counter, I think, would be awesome. Just a few things. I'm not a fan of it pinging an attacker, and I'm not exactly a fan of it making a sound whenever somebody's near it. But I think if you can lay them down like in doorways or right next to drone holes, and if a drone rolled over them, it would just get stuck there, but it can still see. You yourself would get notified, like you get notified whenever you get a drone with your signal disruptor. So you could just walk over and blast the drone off of your hive pad. I think that would be really, really sick. If it could also work on stuff like if Ying were to throw one of her candelas into a room and it was to roll onto the pad, it would roll onto it, get stuck, and shut it down. It just makes an obstacle for drones to have to look out for. I really like that. 2 speed, 2 armor. Cool. Burst rifle. I can see being kind of cool. I think this is pretty sweet. I would make some tweaks with it, but 7 out of 10. I really like it. From Rollin' with Jesus. I think a defensive operator that could hack into enemy teams' comms for a short period of time, kind of like Dokebi hacking cams, but the game would have to force you in GC like old Call of Duty Search and Destroy. Well, Rollin', I'm going to give you a little preview of how this would go down. Alright, hacking enemy comms. Alright, listen. They all got mic bugs. I can't hear nothing. If people actually used comms in the game, or if there was no such thing as Discord, then I think this would be really, really cool, but just couldn't work. Elijah RX at a caveman who has a spear with a melee and throws poo at people. Okay. Replied to himself and said, wow, that's a great idea, man. They should totally add that. Okay. E. Galley. Cloak. A character who was born in the shadows of the streets of New York, living in poverty. Growing up, he learned how to steal, but often got caught. Although he had genius-level intelligence, so he attended a school for 3 days and stole science materials to produce a total cloaking system. At first, it has some bugs, like not staying invisible for long, randomly cutting out, and showing him for a second, but overall it worked. Eventually, he was robbing a bank, and he was brought in by the police because his gear failed while walking past the police. He was brought in by the FBI and trained him in warfare and terrorist attacks, and they gave him all the materials he needs as long as he works with them. His primary guns would be the Vector and Mute shotgun. His secondary would be the Reaper automatic pistol and the PMM 9mm. His ability is he can go invisible for 15 seconds, but you can still hear him. It takes a full 2.5 seconds to get out of invisibility, and it slowly reveals him so he can get a shot while exiting invisibility. He cannot shoot while invisible, but he can get shot. Finally, his invisibility bar drains like Nox, just in 15 seconds rather than 30 seconds. Holy broken. No. This would be easily the only operator anybody ever played. Ever. Sprinting in, totally invisible for 15 seconds at the beginning of a round, especially in a map where everybody on defense is already running around frantically at the beginning anyway. Like in Bank or Clubhouse, you could run in and people would just think it was their own teammates moving around. You could get into sight, kill the only person that's left there because there's too many roamers nowadays, plant the thing, be done with it. Plus, this just reminds me of the movie The Invisible Man, and that movie sucks. Really cool idea, could not be done at all. 5 out of 10. Not Neon Mouse 99. An offensive op with a grenade or something that makes their footsteps 1.5 or 2x louder, but in the opposite direction, and randomly makes a sound cue that was heard by most of the defending op. It's probably really hard to code and would be horrible for beginners, so this op will probably never exist. I just wanted the opposite of Finire. I'm having trouble understanding exactly what this does. He throws a grenade at himself, makes his footsteps louder, and makes his footsteps appear as though they're in a different place than they actually are to the attackers, and randomly makes a sound cue. No. 2 out of 10? You know, I chuckled at Finire, so 2.5. FTBL 009, operator that had a full 360 bulletproof C4 proof shield that has a turret mounted onto the top of it that one-shots every defensive operator. 0 out of 10. Pubert Schmubert. Make Monty have a full-body shield that has a turret on his head that can blow up the map at any time. You know, I've heard enough. Nerf Sledge. Logan Carlson just says, Buck. I've got good news for you. Dylan Brown. Ninja, someone who has all silenced weapons, and his secondary is a sword, and your ability is climbing walls and Selines to hide from people. Always wanted an operator that could climb Selines. Uzaur says you get a 15 plus health boost every elim, and see opponents for 7 seconds after an elim. With what gadget? Like, what gives... I don't know, this feels like an Overwatch thing, not a Rainbow Six thing. Like, what gadget do they have that after they get an elim makes them see the entire enemy team? No, 0 out of 10. This one's from Everett. An offender? What? Hold up. An offender that can set up a screen that makes their team invisible behind it, like that one Mission Impossible scene. I've thought about this before, actually. I think it could maybe work, and I feel like Ubisoft being Ubisoft, there would be something that's just like, that would make it so obvious whenever the screen is up that people would just notice it instantly, impact grenade it, and slaughter your whole team. I think it would be really, really funny though, especially in low lobbies. Like if you have a cav that maybe hears somebody, like they hear somebody breaking the hatch to go down into basement, so they run up those stairs, but our offender sets up a screen. So they just walk into meeting and are like, could have swore I heard something, and then just run back away, back down the stairs, and then you just keep launching grenades or whatever down into the hatch. It would also be hilarious to see clips of people that would like run up as Cav thinking they heard somebody breaking the hatch, and then think that maybe the screen is up, and then they just launch an impact into an empty meeting hall, and it just sails way into the middle and blows up nothingness, and they're just like, oh. Okay. 4 out of 10. I just don't think it would work. Risto says, how about this? A defense operator, a pilot who can call in bombing runs outside, but not in the enemy spawns. Also having to wait at least 30 seconds before being able to use the ability. He only has a pistol, but can pick up other guns if needed. Freaking Call of Duty. Buttermilk, pancake, cinnamon stick, bitch boy. Cracks says, hear my out. Flashbangs. Primary is a P90 or a Burt rifle. Secondary is a shotgun or pistol. Obviously, utility is a flash. Attacker. Moving on. I've had this idea for a few years and I always thought about it. Leon, defense operator, has 2 throwable reinforcements that makes it able to reinforce roof hatches on site. He's a Viper Strike operator like Jaeger, with 416C carbine and P12 secondary. His gadgets are impact grenades and deployable shield. He's a 42-year-old German operative that was thought to be killed during a counter-terrorist mission with Jaeger. That's what I'm talking about lore-wise. Why is his name Leon? That's a French word. He's German. I think that would be really cool, though. There have been several shorter comments about people wanting like a throwable reinforcement. I think it would have to be something, though, that's kind of like a castle barricade. Like, it's not a full reinforcement. You could still, like, maybe soft breach it, but it's just a pain to, like, hit and get through, you know? But it would definitely be cool for, like, reinforcing Logi. Or if you could make this, like, if you threw it on a wall, make it like a half reinforcement. And he would have to spend 2 of his gadgets to reinforce a full wall. I think that would be really sick too. 7.5 out of 10. Last one, Rune, Kite, a Turkish operator, 2 armor, 2 health, gadget Zephyrfly, an underbarrel attachment that shoots 1 fly at a time with 3 in total. The Zephyrfly is a small device that attaches to walls or just solid objects and displaces wind/air to disrupt defenders. Similar to an Ella mine or Echo drone. She possesses a new burst rifle, the M16 or the M590A1 shotgun. Secondaries include the Reaper Mach 2 or the Bailiff. I like this idea a lot. I think if Ubisoft added this, they would probably end up taking flashbangs away from a lot of operators, though. Because you have flashbangs that disrupt sight, you have smokes that disrupt sight, you have Sophia's grenades that do the same thing that an Ella mine does. But I don't see a problem with it. I think it would be really, really cool. Imagine planting and you pair this with an air jab or something. Somebody gets air jabbed across the room and they're like, oof, glad that's over. And they walk over and then they get hit by this Zephyrfly thing. And they're just cooked, and stopping your defuse is impossible. Actually, the more I think about this, the more I think it might kind of be perfect. Yeah, that's a really good one. 9.5. But if you made it to the end of this video, like and subscribe. Or don't. See if I care.